Wow, ladies and gentlemen, today is a very, very odd day. Today I am reviewing Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 2. And oddly enough, I loved this episode, and I didn't love this episode. And it's very, very odd. Now, looking at it first glance, this episode was amazing. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the baseball stadium. I enjoyed the look. Everything from the way it was filmed to the action. Everything from that standpoint is so much better than The Walking Dead. I really, really thought seeing these awesome characters again from the old seasons was truly fantastic. However, for a storyline aspect, I'm very, very worried for Fear the Walking Dead Season 4. And let's get into that in a second. So after the big premiere, Morgan's crossover, we see Morgan, John, and Althea, and they're on the road, and we see Alicia, Strand, Nick, and Luciana. And they're banged up pretty bad, and I predicted that, we would see a flashback in this episode. But wow, it looks like it's going to be spread out more than I thought. And that's what worries me. But let's talk about it. So, the characters of Fear the Walking Dead are in this stadium in Texas, this really cool baseball stadium. And it's really cool looking. You have the new look to it. And we've never seen this kind of setting before in a Walking Dead show, It's really, really cool. They have crops, they have animals, everything that you need. And it's really, really interesting. And there's this girl, Charlie, who is a unique character to Fear the Walking Dead. She caught me off guard later on in the episode. I never thought that she would actually be a, spoiler alert, villain of some sorts. But I think she'll turn back into a good guy later on in this series. But right now, it looks like she is a villain. So let's talk more about the show. So Madison, Alicia, Strand, everyone is just hanging out in this place, and it looks like they've been living here for a very long time. It's probably about 2 years that they've been living here. I need to watch the episode again. I'll be watching it a lot this week to, get ready, familiarize myself. But one of the big problems in the beginning of this episode was that everyone was happy, and everyone acted extremely off, in my opinion. It felt like we've been seeing these characters for 5 episodes, when in reality we only saw them make a cameo in the last episode. I feel like the writers did a very poor job introducing these characters back to us, especially to people that have never seen Fear the Walking Dead. And that was one of my problems in the beginning. Another problem was the artsy style. When it said the beginning, I shrugged and I said, oh no, this is just like The Walking Dead. However, oddly enough, they pulled it off way better than The Walking Dead because, like I said earlier, the writing was a lot better than that god-awful Walking Dead. The characters, most of the time, talked like they did in Season 1, 2, and 3. They were fun. They were interesting. They're a lot more tough and grounded, but they're still those lovable characters that we knew from Fear the Walking Dead Season 1 to Fear the Walking Dead Season 3. There's a couple scenes, there's a couple quotes that Madison said that felt off, and you could tell it was a new writer. However, most of the quotes felt really, really good, and you can tell that the writers are trying to honor Dave Erickson's work on Fear the Walking Dead. And we meet Naomi as well, this new character who is thrown into the mix. I think she's a really interesting character, and hopefully she'll grow with me over time. Right now, I think she's all right. I mean, she's okay. She's interesting, and I want to see what comes up next with her character. I enjoyed the oil rig walker attack. It was really interesting and really cool as heck. So, yeah. That was cool. And, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk more about all of that. So we get Luciana and Strand. They really never talked to each other in the old seasons. They finally get to talk to each other, and they're kind of allies. And, it's cute. They talk to each other, and Strand, he worries if Madison will never forgive him. So Madison and Alicia are trying to look for Charlie's family, and Charlie made up this whole lie to them so they could so she could spend more time with Nick, and you know, get to know more about the baseball stadium, and tell this new group of villains about the baseball stadium. So yeah, so when we get back, Nick, he goes out as he hears this noise, and he's freaking out because he hasn't been outside in a long time. And he hears this noise in the distance. He wants to go out and help them. However, he doesn't make it very far. There's flashbacks of season 3. I really enjoyed this scene. And he runs right into the pool, and he must escape. And there's this character. I forgot his name. He's a really cool guy. Kind of looks tough around the edges. He might be a troublemaker, but he's a really good sniper, and he saves Nick's butt, and Nick gets right back inside the baseball stadium. So yeah, I thought that was a really, really interesting action-packed scene. If it wasn't ruined with the present scene, you know, we have the present storyline and then we have the past storyline. What is the point of Nick being afraid to go outside if we see him outside already in the present storyline? It basically makes no sense and is completely pointless. Unless something big happened in Nick's past that we will get to know about later on in this season. And in my prediction, I think Daniel died right in front of Nick's eyes in a very gruesome way, and it caused Nick to basically shut down. I personally feel like Daniel and Nick, they share some, you know, scenes together, and they actually become friends. But then Nick loses Daniel, his only ally in this world, because Nick believes that he lost everyone else. I think this is what happens, and then Daniel gets ripped apart by walkers, and Nick shuts himself out. I think that would be the only way that it would justify the way Nick is acting, and it would be the only way that they could pull it off. So, yeah. And let's talk about that stupid, that fake out. They did it in Fear the Walking Dead Season 2. They made us think again that Madison was dead, but could she actually die this season? I don't know. Because Madison is not in the present time storyline at all. So I want to know where she is. So yeah. Let's talk about this new group. And I found this new group of villains completely underwhelming. In Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead, the groups of villains were done very well. You had the ranch, and then a kind of villain group, Taka's Indians. And Dave Erickson pulled it off so well because it was nothing you ever saw before. It was groups of villains, but Dave Erickson pulled it off so well. He tried connecting these groups of villains more to the real world, so you actually could care about them. You know, there's laws in the world nowadays. You know, there's killing and stuff. And Taka and Jeremiah, they went to court. So that's how they balanced the group of villains, and they felt extremely fresh and unique as heck. However, these new writers, these new showrunners, they don't know how to create a unique group of villains after Negan. We've seen a whole year of Negan. We're tired of the big savior group. Fear the Walking Dead Season 3 pulled it off so well after The Walking Dead Season 7 with, you know, the unique villains. However, this group of villains is just a wannabe savior group. There's nothing really interesting about them. They're pretty much cartoony. You thought the Proctors were undeveloped in Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, they look developed and amazing compared to this group. Now, I'm not saying that this group is bad. I'm just saying that it's just underwhelming, ladies and gentlemen. They're just underwhelming. I go, I shrug. The interesting thing, however, is they are somewhat terrifying. And I will admit it. They are terrifying in a unique way. Because of the way they balance time, these villains are very threatening and terrifying. Because we don't know what they do to the group in the present time. We don't know what's going on yet in the flashbacks. So right now, they are really, really scary. But they come off as cartoony, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not I just shrug because I'm like, it's another group of villains, because we just saw Negan's Savior group. And this group of villains, I go, you know, they're trying to introduce them, but it just comes off as, I don't know. But I am sure they will become really cool villains. They are the ones setting up the flags, and yeah. So Charlie, it's revealed that she is working with them. She told them everything about Madison's baseball stadium, and wow, the little brat. I knew there was something off with her in the beginning. I could just tell there was something off with her. So yeah. But here's the big thing of why this episode it fails, in my opinion. I'm really worried that the plot will move at a snail's pace, kind of like The Walking Dead Season 8, and that worries me. Because it seems like we're going to flip to the past, the present, the past, the present, the past, until Episode 8. And it really reminds me of The Walking Dead. You know, guys, in The Walking Dead, most of the action, most of the big things happen in, you know, the finales, the premieres, the mid-season finals, the mid-season premiere, and nothing's really unique in the episodes. However, Season 8 kind of brought some unique things to the episodes. I'm really worried that Fear the Walking Dead will just be build up, will be set up to something big. And that's what worries me. These flashbacks and these forward, these present day scenes, they sound good on paper, and they sound really interesting, having two storylines going on, one in the past, one in the present. It sounds interesting on paper, but it just probably will not work for television. I don't want to tune in every Sunday and watch the past, and then the present, and then the past, and then the present. It would work better if you saw both of it clashing together, but if they only have one little scene of the present in one Sunday, and then one little scene of the past the next Sunday, and then it focuses on one, I just think it will bring down the plot. And this is episode 2. We don't have a clear focus of where this storyline is going to go. In season 3, in the first 2 episodes, we were introduced to Troy, the ranch, and that they were not good people, that they were messed up people, and it had a clear focus of where the story would go. For this, however, I'm really, really worried. Now, I'm interested into where it's going to go. The villains seem really interesting. They, you know, I'm like, man, they're just villains to me. But I hope they can develop them, because right now they're cartoony, very cartoony. But I enjoy the characters. I enjoy the action. I enjoyed the new setting, the new look. Everything was good. I'm just worried about this artsy tone that they're trying to take. And I can tell that Gimple is really forcing it on them. And I hope they can pull it off, because it will just come off as stupid by the mid-season final. And I hope they can pull it off very well. I doubt they can, and I'm very worried for Fear the Walking Dead Season 4. I thought the episode was fun for what it was, but there are some serious problems that could make Fear the Walking Dead really bad. Also, guys, showing Morgan, John, and Althea at the end was one of the biggest mistakes of this episode. They were the stars of the premiere, and watching them in one little scene felt really just awful. It just felt really odd, because I wanted to see more of these characters. I wanted them to meet Madison. I wanted the story to be freaking normal. And we're not getting normal. We're getting a flash forward storyline, it looks like, and then a flashback storyline, it looks like. If they're going to do this, I hope it's resolved by episode 4, and then we just get the present day storyline. Will they do that? I doubt it. I think this will be drawn out until the mid-season finale. But let's pray for the best. There is hope, ladies and gentlemen. The characters are great. The characters have not been ruined like The Walking Dead, and that is a major plus. The action is great. The look of this show is great. However, some people really hate the yellow look. I didn't find it as a big problem. So yeah, and I hope that the storyline will not be boggled down in, this, you know what I mean. Them going back and forth, and then showing the groups, the villains, and then showing Morgan in one episode and Althea and John, and then not showing them in one episode. They did this in Fear the Walking Dead Season 3 2 times when they split them up and they didn't show other characters for an episode. But it worked and it benefited it. And I hope that it will benefit in Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 if they split people up too. In this episode, it did benefit because we had to see Madison, we had to see Nick, we had to see all these characters. And I think if Morgan was in it, he would have stole the show again. If Althea or John was in it, they would have stole the show. But it just felt off showing them at the end because I just wanted to see them even more. But I'll give this episode a B+. I really enjoyed it. It was fun for what it was. There was a couple moments in the writing where you said, where you go, okay, this is a new writer. But most of the characters, they kept their characteristics from the other seasons, and I am very, very happy that most of the characters are the same, and I enjoyed the episode for the action. The characters were awesome. I enjoyed the look. I enjoyed the music, the setting. I'm just worried that the artsy stuff that they're starting to do on Fear the Walking Dead might ruin what made Fear the Walking Dead unique in the first place. I miss the gritty, just straightforward style that Fear the Walking Dead had. They did one episode where it was a flashback, and that was the one with Daniel, and it was needed. It was freaking needed, and it really made Season 3 awesome. However, I hope the artsy stuff will not overpower this season of Fear the Walking Dead. I'm very worried, but I hope they can pull it off. I hope they can do good things. The artsy stuff right now that they're doing, it's actually working better than The Walking Dead. It feels like it's flowing better, but only time will tell. So I hope you enjoy this review. I give it a B+. It was a good episode. I'm just worried for the future of Fear the Walking Dead. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, do whatever the heck you want to do, and goodbye. Bye, everyone.